The Agbero system in Lagos State generates a whopping 123 billion naira annually. This is more than the internally generated revenue of 35 states in Nigeria. With a stronghold in Lagos, this system can be observed along the roads of most major cities in the country, preying on commercial drivers under the guise of unionism. While they may seem quite disorganized, it has been uncovered that the Agberos in Nigeria have a shocking level of organization and hierarchical authority among themselves. What gave rise to the emergence of Agbero in Nigeria? And how have they been able to not only survive but thrive under the watch of the government, despite the numerous tales of horror surrounding their operations? Stay with us as we explore the underrated street economy of Lagos, why it is untouchable, and a mysterious origin very few people know about.
But tó bá súnmọ́ wọn ò ní mọ̀ ká máa fojú rò pé àwọn ilé touts wọ́n ṣe touts o Agbero wọ́n wà l'Amẹ́ríkà wọ́n tra wọ́n ṣe nǹkan tó dáa ó dẹ̀ pé tó bá dẹ̀ ra àwọn ọmọ wọn tó bá ní national baby wọn mo máa dá Agbero oṣùmọ̀ wọn èmi tó ń wò ìlàfún ni mo lọ.
In the vibrant city of Lagos, the word Agbero has become a household name, associated with the touts at the motor parks or the aggressive transport workers unapologetically extorting commercial drivers. Originating from two Yoruba words, Agba and Ero, which loosely translate as those who receive commuters. The roots of the Agbero culture can be traced back to the early 20th century, when young men congregated around motor parks, assisting passengers with loading and unloading goods and helping drivers gather passengers. Over time, these individual groups of young men began to organize themselves, leading to the formation of various transport unions. By the 1970s, these separate unions were merged by the government to form an independent official union, which we know today as the National Union of Road Transport Workers (NURTW). Officially established between 1978 and 1980 during Nigeria's Second Republic. Initially, the union was focused on advocating for the rights and welfare of its members, including bus drivers who, during the Second Republic, went on strike to defend their pensions, salaries, and allowances. Until the mid-1980s, they were focused on typical union activities aimed at protecting their members. However, a shift began to occur when the Babangida-led government introduced the Structural Adjustment Program (SAP), which resulted in the privatization of many public services, including transportation. This development caused many drivers to break away from the government and operate independently, leaving few union members for the NURTW to work for. Yet, the union held on, eventually abandoning major parts of its obligations and eventually becoming more or less a self-serving entity. As the union evolved, so did the culture of the Agberos, who they are closely tied with. While the Agberos once acted as frontline workers in motor parks, responsible for collecting dues from drivers on behalf of the union, they began forcefully exerting dues on drivers for helping them obtain passengers. These didn't go well with the commercial drivers, nor could anything be done about it. As their only protective umbrella, the transport union posed itself as a major enabler. Soon, the street thugs developed a hierarchy where the Agberos reported to chairmen and chairmen to unit head, who in turn submitted to executive members. The collected funds for the day flowed through this chain of command, ending with the NURTW, with each level taking its share before passing the remainder along. With the emergence of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as Lagos State Governor in the early 2000s, the influence of Agberos expanded significantly, becoming more entrenched in the state's transport system. Under his administration, the activities of the union and the Agberos became fully integrated, institutionalized, and replicated across all 37 local council development areas he created. Once an independent trade union, the NURTW became further compromised, and the Agberos, once known to aid commercial drivers, completed their full transition into money-making machines. The governor was known to support the late Honorable Ademola Adele to properly structure the group internally, allowing for easy monitoring and identification. These Agberos were reportedly absorbed into various government branches, adorning different uniforms and even extending their informal taxes to traders. With unemployment skyrocketing among the youths, the Agbero system became a lucrative business for those brave enough to join and willing enough to be used as tools of extortion. Additionally, this period saw efforts to effectively regulate the activities of the NURTW, aiming to establish rules and regulations and lessen violence. But this was only within the system itself, and because it was good for business, as it didn't do anything to stop these extortions from becoming a part of the socio-economic fabric of Lagos State. Rather, it made the NURTW a more powerful entity. Over the years, this progression and degeneracy have garnered a mixed reputation among Lagosians. While they claim to manage park activities, discipline drivers that break traffic laws, and ensure the smooth traveling of commuters, their methods have often been subject of public scrutiny. Commercial bus drivers report paying not less than 3,000 naira in a day to the union in the name of services provided for free by the government in other countries. Both tricycle and motorcycle riders are not exempt from this extortion, as they remit not less than 2,000 naira and 1,000 naira respectively every single day. As of 2021, the Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority estimates the presence of about 75,000 commercial buses in the state, meaning that if each bus pays about 3,000 naira in ticket fees, the NURTW is likely to collect about 225 million naira each day. The same goes for commercial tricycles, popularly known as keke napep, which reportedly number over 50,000 in the state and generate about 90 million naira each day in ticket fees. Combining that with the 37,000 commercial motorcycles, popularly known as Okada, operating in Lagos, the union-backed Agberos collect an estimated sum of 340 million naira a day and 123 billion naira annually. This was how the International Center for Investigative Reporting came to the conclusion that the Lagos State Agbero economy as of 2021 generated more revenue than the entire oil-rich River State, the second wealthiest state in the country. This brings every observer to the one question that opens another can of worms. Where does the money go? For one, this huge stream of revenue largely goes unreported in the financial books of the state. While it is officially on record that road taxes are among the 25 taxes collected by the Lagos State government, reports show that there are barely any traces of remittance to the treasury on this tax, despite a year worth of it capable of paying off 24% of the state's entire debt. However, it is not yet clear what these road taxes are. Not even the executive chairman of the Lagos Internal Revenue Services was willing to provide information on the accumulated earnings on this tax. When requested by investigators, the Commissioner for Finance also went silent on the request. Even the National Bureau of Statistics, together with its entitlement to financial data from all states, lack any information on it. If you're enjoying this documentary, please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe. Your support enables us to continue sharing compelling stories like this one. Now, let's get back to the story. Many believe that the mysterious road tax referred to the ticket sales brokered by the Agberos on the road, which surprisingly isn't recognized by the Lagos State government as revenue. By definition of revenue by the state, it exempted earnings collected by agents on behalf of the government, meaning that Agberos who collect the said road taxes as agents of the government now bask in the luxury of handling these funds without being demanded of it. For some reason, this weird policy has continued to be upheld by the Lagos State government despite disapprovals by accountants. Further investigations reveal that some of these road levies ended up at the NURTW and its rival union, the Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria, (RTIN). However, the bulk of the money, after being fingered by those below the operating chain, reportedly ends up in private pockets, most of whom hold huge political influence in the state and are linked with the government. Hence, it is not even difficult to deduce multiple reasons why the Lagos State government has chosen to look the other way while the oppressive system of road governance continues to thrive. Public opinions have also pointed out the issue of thuggery during elections, where these Agberos are used by powerful politicians to constitute violence and bully opponents. This makes it dangerous for an elected government to oppose their operations, when they could rather seek their services from the industry godfathers to manipulate elections. In some cases, political factions break out within these Agberos, where they become conflicted between serving the interest of a current government or the opposition. In a certain rally preceding the 2019 gubernatorial elections, members of the NURTW and its leader were attacked by what was believed to be a disagreeing faction of the union, leading to the stabbing of MC Oluomo, leader of the union, and 8 others. The attacking faction was alleged to have attacked out of their loyalty to the then current governor, whom they believed was being forced by the political godfathers to drop his ambitions for a second tenure. With such a level of rascality existing in the Lagos political sphere, executed by the Agberos and feared by the powers that be, no politician would totally want their alien nation, as the Agberos are in themselves a political currency and key to the gold mine embedded along the roads of Lagos. Many view Agberos as nothing but henchmen assigned to do the dirty field work and receiving crumbs in return. While this can be quite arguable, considering the multi-billion naira industry they operate in, it is surprisingly possible that the average Agbero makes the average minimum wage in a week. A former Agbero noted that it was only when tires don't roll on the road that they don't make money. During an interview, a unit chairman revealed that he could make up to 15,000 naira on a good day. Surprisingly, the paycheck was described as poor by the member, who cited that years back in Tinubu's tenure as governor, his daily earnings averaged the sum of 45,000 naira. This decline in remittance had reportedly caused some of the union operatives to abandon the job, while many still consider it a good source of income, including bus drivers like MC Oluomo, who found the union a better alternative. Regardless of wherever the Agberos come from, the organization ultimately shapes them into aggressive road soldiers, loyal pawns to the system, and wonderful hype men depending on the situation.
So to become an area boy, you have to be stubborn with sense to know what you are doing, not that you just be, no, you have to be stubborn with sense.
Being on the wrong side of their book can be a nightmare for any Lagosian, as these Agberos virtually control the streets and consolidate their strength in numbers.
You have breakdown, you don't get help, rather you see area boys coming around and with the pretext that they want to assist you to maybe help you to sort whatever the issue is in your car, they end up extorting so much money from you. As much as 50,000, they will be asking for 50,000, 20,000, 30,000. They will, no matter how you beg them to say, oh, this is what I have 5,000, I have one, they will not agree.
For the drivers on the road, refusing to pay their levies potentially translated into having a part of their car damaged or removed. Many commercial drivers have decried these methods, stating that the transport business is no longer what it used to be. A bus driver revealed that beyond the mandatory national ticket, they were repeatedly charged at various locations and at different times throughout the day.
We usually pay twice per trip. So when we start loading, we are going to pay. When we get to our destination too. If we want to carry passenger, we are going to pay too. At the end of the day, me and Agbero, we are friends now because I had one experience between me and Agbero and my chairman.
To add salt to the injury, these road taxes were reportedly increased in 2023 with the reason that the transport drivers increased their boarding fares, which was only done in response to the removal of fuel subsidies. In all this, no one sees the impact of these unbearable fees in solving any problem, other than inflating the cost of transportation and filling the road with thuggery, obstacles, and violence. To save face, the NURTW has tried to distance itself from the tag Agberos, which has now become a derogatory and defining term for hooligans. The union has urged the public to refrain from addressing its members as touts, as they are just workers and do not engage in any forceful collection of taxes. The union also claims to remain in the business of protecting commercial drivers, highlighting an example where their cordial relationship with law enforcement agencies has led to the reduction of official fine levied on drivers who break traffic rules. In March 2022, Significant organizational shifts occurred within the union when the Lagos state government suspended its operations, citing internal conflicts and leadership crisis. Furthermore, the government established the Lagos State Parks and Garages Management Committee to oversee transport activities. This newly formed body was not only chaired by MC Oluomo, who had previously served as the Lagos State NURTW chairman. It allegedly absorbed former members of the disbanded union. In fact, it was reported that nothing changed at all, as the PMS was just a new name for the same organization. Regardless, the Agbero still operated, persisting in their extortion of drivers either in disguise or with the usual use of force. Later in September 2023, the committee was dissolved and the National Union of Road Transport Workers, after close to 2 years of indefinite suspension, was reinstated. Expecting a sort of rebirth in the organization, commercial drivers only saw things get worse. The irrational increase of the union levies following the removal of fuel subsidies led to the threats of industrial actions by commercial drivers, who complained that the proceeds of their business only went into paying the union's ridiculous fees.
That's finished. So nothing we can do about it. Or else we check them.
Despite public pressure on the Lagos state government to curb the number of Agberos and their collection points, actions by the state government have been proven reluctant in taking the bull by the horn. Addressing this issue and further formalizing the revenues generated by the Agbero industry will not only reduce the rascality on the roads of Lagos, but will also provide a substantial stream of revenue to the state. However, until a bold leader arises to take difficult decisions such as this, the Lagos economy will forever be held at ransom by street power.